All right.
Hey, everybody.
Welcome to Trust Relations, the podcast.
I'm here with April, the founder of Trust Relations and the doyen of all things public relations.
And of course, we're joined by the wonderful Hamish, our marketing lead and expert in the space, who I like to call my marketing other half.
We're tackling some of the biggest topics in news and integrated marketing and learning from the mistakes that make headlines or sink brands.
So join us as we have a chat about what works, what doesn't, and what we have to say about all of it.
It's so nice to see you again.
It's good to see you. Oh my gosh, are you seriously in pink too?
I was just gonna say we're matching. Of course we do. Of course we match.
Oh my gosh, this is not a color I wear often, but it was like 80 today, and I was like, oh, it's the only thing hanging in the closet that looks somewhat kind of springy. So
It's amazing. Okay, so we have a very exciting edition of Trust Relations, the podcast, with a guest co-host, Renée Walker. And I'm super excited to introduce her. She is the president of Renée Walker Associates, a strategy, brand, and marketing communications agency. So we're going to have her today to walk us through our normal show. And we're so excited to have you here, Renée. How's your day so far?
Well, April, thank you so much for having me. I was super excited when I woke up this morning knowing that you and I were going to have this conversation. What? Absolutely. It is absolutely the highlight of my day. And I look so forward to getting to the nitty gritty, as they would say.
I love it. And you channeled me in the pink.
100%. I mean, oh my gosh. Great minds, right?
Exactly. Oh my goodness. Anything that's going on in the world that's been interesting lately, or anything that you're
oh my gosh. I mean, the news just does not stop, right? I mean, there's always just so many case studies, so many things to kind of absorb every day. And I'm having more and more conversations recently around marketing, given the state of the economy. And, you know, a lot of organizations are trying to cut their budgets, and what do we do, and how do we continue to deliver results? And so, yeah, that's just been a crazy amount of conversations around that lately.
Yeah, it is a really weird time in the world. Is there a standard piece of advice that you could offer to everyone listening that you've been offering to these clients, or is it customized for each one based on their life cycle? And
there's not a one size fits all kind of approach that actually is going to deliver results, as you well know. And so we really try and understand where our clients and folks are trying to go with their marketing and what challenges and opportunities they have, and then build from there. But the thing that I would love to share with your audience today is what I call the 5 insanely simple questions to fast track or boost your marketing. And it's really counterintuitive how simple these are, but often we don't do it. And business owners really don't have the perspective that we bring, right? So before I get into the question, let me say this. I want everyone to listen to these questions, not hearing them from you, the business owner, marketing your products or services. I want you to hear and answer the questions from the perspective of the customers you're trying to reach. So that's a little bit of a twist, right? Because oftentimes we are very clear about our services and our products and their benefits and what they can do to help folks, right? We are very clear about that. However, when we are going to tell that story, when we're trying to engage with our customer community, it's really what they think and how they feel and what they do that matters. And so if you answer these 5 questions from their perspective, your marketing strategy will be significantly stronger and will absolutely yield better results.
Interesting. So let's hear. I mean, I know I'm dying. What are the 5 questions?
So the first one, what primary challenge does your product and or service solve, or what, most importantly, opportunity does it create for your customer? Right? So we've been like, figure out the pain points. But there are also opportunities. So if you're talking to a company or trying to work with companies or consumers that want to up their game or level up, as you would say, then you really need to be thinking about what opportunities, what you offer can help them do that, and what the post-event of that would look like. The second question is, what unique experience do you provide? And I'm sure you, being in the comms business as well, always hear, well, everybody sells X, or There's so many other vendors or customers or competition or whatever that sells Y.
Yep.
And so I'm going to get into business, but I really don't know how to differentiate myself. It's about the experience. It's about how you service your customer. It's about how your products meet the needs of your niche. Because oftentimes, I'm sure you hear it on the PR side as well. Oh yeah, I can market to everybody. Everybody needs what I'm selling. And while technically that is true, technically, the reality is right.
Yeah.
The reality is, I mean, so I'm walking today, I need shoes. Yeah, everybody at some point needs shoes. They don't necessarily need your shoes.
Right.
So, and that's where you want to get to.
Yeah, that's funny. Both of these are reminding me. I had a call this morning with one of our clients, Munch Pack, which is an international snack box. And we were trying to get to the bottom of some of these, right? And it's like a snack box doesn't solve pain points, to your earlier point, right? But what it does do is it can provide an experience that is needed on an emotional level, an adventure level, like a family gathering, communal level, things like that, right? So we were diving into some of that. And then same thing with like unique experience. There are lots of snacks in the world, lots of snack subscriptions, and like, how do you really hone in on that? And I think you have to get a bit creative and really know your customers. And in their case, they actually have dialogues with their customers to find out what the customers want, what snacks they want next, what they want to see different. And then they're creating snack boxes with the input of their customers, right? So that is one way I think that's super obvious, but I think a lot of people don't necessarily make that two-way communication between the brand and their customers, 100%. Which is really actually the inspiration of the Trust Relations name, funny enough. But it needs to be that two domains establishing trust between each other and having a dialogue.
Oh, absolutely, 100%. And what I always tell folks, yeah, sure, if you tell your ideal customers what you think they ought to want to know about you and they'll purchase, they probably won't.
Yeah.
So that dialogue is super important. And that leads me to the third question, which is when your ideal customer is searching for your product or service, what search terms will they use? Now, we've all been, geared toward in a digital space to go and research keywords and see what's ranking and blah, blah, blah. And that is important. But it's also important to have your customer's voice as part of that strategy. Because if they call it something different, you want them to be able to find you because they're looking for you. And so having that information is very important.
Yeah. And it also informs the words and terms and phrases and things that you need to be using in your website copy, on your blog, in your social media, in your public relations, like all of the things, so if you don't know what they're actually looking for when they're trying to find you, then, you're missing a big opportunity.
Absolutely. Which is why the customer's perspective, when you answer these questions, is really, really important. You need to get off the stage and sit in the front row.
Yep.
So that you can understand and appreciate it from their perspective.
Right. Yeah.
Because they are likely looking for you. You just aren't either in the right space or not using the right words, and therefore they're not able to connect and discover you.
Right. Are they searching for junk food? Are they searching for snacks? Are they searching for adventure? Like, what is the thing that's leading them to Munch Pack or whatever the brand does, right?
100%.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And then the last question is, second to last, is kind of where are your customers most likely to search for your products and services and therefore be receptive to your approach.
Right.
So oftentimes people want to be on certain channels or social media channels and their clients may be there, but they're not there for that reason. So they're not necessarily going to hear your message or engage with it because it's not what they are there to do. It's not what they're intending to do.
Yeah.
So being able to manage that is super important as well. And then the final question, what happens if your prospective customer hears your message, is intrigued by it, but isn't actually ready to make a purchase at that moment? What is it you want them to do next? How are you going to get them into your marketing funnel? How are you going to continue to engage and nurture them so that they can become a customer? Because this idea that, I'm great with low-hanging fruit. There's always going to be that immediate opportunity, instant gratification to sell. However, a lot of other people aren't necessarily at that point. So how do you engage them? What is that next step? And most marketing campaigns that I review don't really have that built in.
Yeah.
Right? It's a one and done.
Yeah, no, that's a really good point. In fact, what are some of the things that you could do as a brand if you have not been doing this, right? What are some of the options? What should they be thinking through as potential solutions?
Well, the biggest thing is to start and always lead with value. So, what can you do that's valuable for that particular customer segment that you're
Yeah.
interested in engaging with? So, is that providing more information, like for your snack company? Do you have a healthy snack box? Are there people that you can segment that would care about that? Are there people, to your point about emotional eating, and they really, really like certain types of, they want to crunch, as an example? I know when I'm emotional in eating, I need to crunch. So, so I don't give me
The
long
woman who knows
tapping.
herself.
No, I need to crunch, like really. And
Really?
so,
That's
yes,
so cute.
but I actually don't need to eat the entire bag of chips, like, right? Right. But I do need to crunch. So, like, what is it that you can offer them that will keep them learning and interested without being overbearing? Like,
Yeah.
an email a day is bad. A text message without permission is bad. However, if they opt into these things, that would be great. The other thing you can do is offer them promotions, to try this or try that type of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
So there are any number of things that you can do on the marketing side that can help build that emotional connection to help your prospective customers be more comfortable, be more curious, be more engaged with you, and
Yeah.
ultimately make the purchase.
Right. I like that. It's just sparking for me because I'm realizing we do have ways of continuing to communicate with customers. But if you're a service industry brand like ours, like an agency,
Mhm, mhm,
or even your own agency,
mhm.
what do you do if you talk to somebody, they're not ready for PR? What do you then do?
It really depends. Like, so if it's PR, they're probably not exactly ready. They're not camera ready, as I would call it. So I would give them, right, some tools and some strategies and some things that would help them feel more comfortable, that could help them be able to deliver their key messages in a way that's authentic, that can think about it, to can kind of demystify the process, right?
Right, right.
Because PR is completely counterintuitive. What has to happen in order to be successful there is not what most people think. So I think there's a ton of opportunity to provide behind the scenes kinds of information that will allow them to be better on camera. For my
Mhm.
space and marketing, because we do most of that, but I do use that when I do crisis communications. Like, I have a whole protocol book, ebook that I send out. I'm happy to walk them through, have a
That's smart.
consultation, all those
Yep.
types of things. Because if we have to go on camera in that situation, I need you to be authentic. I need you to be able to show up in a way that is going to be helpful and not further harm your brand
Right.
and company. In the marketing side, marketing is very confusing, period. Hard stop, drop the mic. Oftentimes people are so inundated with so many strategies. Like, right now, everybody's leaning into digital and social, and I still believe that there are traditional marketing channels and strategies that can help you be more successful on those sides. So
Yeah.
we spend a lot of time educating our clients because we want our clients to understand the value we're bringing. And so we will do free consultations, brainstorming sessions, those types of things. Every once in a while, I bring a small group of prospective clients together and really kind of suss out what's going on and help them feel more comfortable about the process and making an
Mm.
informed purchase decision. So
Yep.
it's really about leading with value, not selling.
Cool. Any other advice given today's economic landscape that you have as, advice for people that are up against it, trying to slice marketing dollars and trying to figure out where to spend them?
100%. I say, first of all, before you make that decision, do an assessment of all of your marketing, right? What worked before may not be working as well now, but there may be
Mhm.
other opportunities and other strategies that you're not bringing forward that would be far more advantageous in this environment.
Mhm.
The
Mhm.
second thing is, now is the time to get very specific on segments. So if your segment is huge, cut it, cut it, cut it until you find low hanging fruit that you can be
Okay.
successful with. And the final thing is, don't lean in and cut your marketing budget first. It is the lifeline of your business. So from my perspective, marketing is an investment, not an expense. So if you do need to cut that, then you need to make sure that whatever you're spending is highly targeted and it's very clear about your metrics and it's very clear about who you're looking for. And again, if you use these 5 insanely simple questions, you will be so much better off because you will be able to actually reach and resonate with the customers you're looking for.
That's great advice. It is sort of the driving force of your sales. So cutting that off at the knees is not wise.
And the other thing to think about, there are 2 other points. Number one, you still have customers that you may not currently be doing business with. It's always a good idea to go and revisit them and say hello and see what's going on with them because they have a relationship with you. So they know your quality. And obviously, re-engaging a client or customer is going to be far more cost efficient than trying to go find some new ones.
Yes.
And then the last point is making sure that you recognize that this is also temporary. Like however long temporary is in this cycle, things are going to rebound. And your competitors are probably thinking they need to slash their budgets as well. Therefore, there's more opportunity in the marketplace. So you should seize that opportunity as well.
Right. It's like investing in the downturn while everyone else is not planting seeds. Okay, cool. Well, with that, I think we're ready for our second segment of the day, which is our news segment. And today we have a pretty interesting story. The title of the article is Can AI Defame You? An Australian mayor is preparing the first defamation suit over ChatGPT. So, and just as a reminder, in this segment, we end up discussing the news and the impact that it will have on strategic communications and brand management, share some insights into, how we think that that's relevant to people that are listening and what people should consider, whether they're brands or thought leaders, et cetera, based on this. So basically, ChatGPT claimed that the mayor of Hepburnshire, Brian Hood, served time in prison over a bribery scandal that was linked to the Reserve Bank of Australia. And well, he didn't. So not only has he never been to prison, but he was also the whistleblower who helped take down the actual guilty parties in that bribery scandal. But yet ChatGPT is linking him as the person that was implicated by it, which is insane. Also, I was shocked when I read the article. This is not the first time that ChatGPT had something horrifically wrong like this. So let me just grab the other example because that was crazy. Okay, so another example is that ChatGPT recently invented a sexual harassment scandal involving George Washington University law professor Jonathan Turley, who is a very real person and was not at all amused by this, and cited a non-existent Washington Post article as evidence for its claims. What? Mm-hmm. How does that even happen? This is mind-boggling to me.
100%. I mean, this is really serious, right? I mean, people's
really
reputation
serious.
is very important to them, but also to their businesses and everything. And as we all know, once it's on the internet, it's usually very difficult. It's like playing whack-a-mole to make it go away.
It's crazy. It's really crazy. It also frightens me a little bit because I know people are using ChatGPT for content. And then if you are a content marketer or your client is creating blogs and they're using ChatGPT, every single thing needs to be fact checked. And I think people are using ChatGPT thinking it's insta fact checked. Mm-hmm. And I think if you're a brand, you need to be really, really careful not to do that. Or if you're a PR firm and you're doing bylines, you got to triple check any of the information you find in there, because if they're inventing Washington Post articles, first of all, that just raises a lot of questions about society at large and where we're going. But
absolutely.
But on top of that, I think it just for marketers, that means it is not bulletproof. And if you're using it as such, you could be in a world of hurt, because then you could end up being sued for defaming somebody because you used information from ChatGPT.
Absolutely. And so technology and its wonders are awesome and has progressed our society beyond words. However, anytime we acquire a new technology, we need to do so with critical thinking, and we need to do so with understanding that it's a new frontier and we don't know what we don't know as we're starting to, consume this new tech. What if the people who told that mayor that this was going on, he would have never had a clue? Like, had they not said to him, right, oh, hey, this happened, that's ridiculous. So I think
floating around the world of
clueless, absolutely clueless. And so one thing that I think is really important, particularly for pretty much everybody, but if you're in business or are a public figure, you need to definitely check on, your online reputation proactively. Like, you need to make that a to-do list, right? Yep. I can tell you from personal experience, to my knowledge, there is no public photo of me with any kind of alcohol in a professional setting. That's just my personal preference. But when I have been out and someone has tagged me in a photo, I have contacted them and asked them to remove my tag. I'm very serious about that. So I think you have to be intentional about your brand and reputation. Make it a task, like put it on a to-do, make it recurring. And so that you take that 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes or whatever, you'll be amazed at what you discovered. I mean, I wrote articles for a platform several years ago, and they've been reassigned to people who are not me.
What?
Yes. And so my attorneys are now sending a cease and desist. I tried the polite, hey, I'm not sure how this happened, blah, blah, blah. And I didn't receive a response. So now my attorneys are it's my original content. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So, but I would never have known that had I not been out there just kind of playing around, seeing what was going on.
Oof. That's really, really insightful and good advice. Yeah, I think everybody and anybody who's not already doing this, if you have clients and you're a PR agency or your reputation management or whatever you are, that's a good reminder that every single client and their thought leaders should be scoured for online reputation related content and make sure that everything is kosher.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
But like I was saying too, the Vanderbilt situation with the situation in Michigan and the tragic shooting at Michigan State, dean of, I think it was the Peabody School, they used AI to write a letter to the campus community. And they forgot to remove the line at the bottom that said, generated by AI. And it had some inaccuracies in it. Obviously, it wasn't as empathetic as it should and could and would have been had a person actually written it. So I just think we have to be mindful that the technology can be helpful when used appropriately, but that doesn't negate our responsibility to, as you said, fact check. And also make sure that it reflects your brand, voice, tone, all those things that we've been doing for years, because it's very, very important.
For sure. Renee, do you have any other advice for people listening about what this piece of news could mean for them, the impact, relevance for, brands, thought leaders, spokespeople, et cetera?
I think my final point on this is, again, be vigilant. Obviously, the technology is here to stay, and it's only going to continue to be immersive within our communities and our culture and our businesses and all of that. But be mindful and strategic and use critical thinking skills all of the time. A computer can generate a lot of stuff. They can't, as of yet at least, generate empathy and warmth and that actual authentic human touch and sensitivity. And so if you're going to use any kind of technology, you still need to have the human element.
Agreed. I mean, I think that's a mic drop moment. Renee out. So thank you so much to our listeners. You can catch our show wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. And remember to subscribe, rate, and share our show to keep the content coming your way and grow this community of amazing communicators. Thank you for being along for the ride as we build trust relations into the agency of the future and beyond. And goodbye for now. But because the Grand Canyon is so deep, it's oh my God, he did it again.
Who is that?
This is Alton. He thinks he's a tiny cat and he just jumps on me from the ground without warning, without asking, and just clings on. Like, He's literally digging his claws into my sweater right now. I'm gonna leave him for now because he'll be sad if I don't. I love Renee's background with these like.
I know. I was looking at your wall.
This is Taz.
Oh my goodness! Is Taz a boy?
He is a boy, and believe it or not, he is a cockapoo. Yep, Cocker Spaniel and Poodle. Super smart, and he'll be 15 years old in December. But he never got the memo, so he runs around like a puppy, and then he goes to sleep.